This is the reading for People of the 13 Colonies. There are 4 main reasons why people came to the New World and settled in the colonies: religious freedom, profit, slavery, and indentured servants. In the 1500s, England separated from the Roman Catholic Church and established the Church of England. The King of England was the head of the church and expected all of his citizens to belong to the Church of England. Many of the New England colonies were founded for religious freedom and were settled by families. The Pilgrims and Puritans believed that the Church of England had retained too much of the Catholic Church's rituals. The Pilgrims and the Puritans were also very strict about behavior and thought the Church of England did not require its members to live up to their high standards. When they tried to practice their own religion in England, they were persecuted and punished. In the 1600s, the Pilgrims and Puritans came to the New World to establish a settlement so that they could have religious freedom. The Puritans joined the Pilgrims in the Massachusetts Bay Colony, but they were far stricter and less tolerant than the Pilgrims. Most of the southern colonies were established by people for economic reasons or profit. During the 1500s and 1600s, people in England were struggling with a bad economy. Companies in England were willing to pay for ships and supplies for people to settle in the New World in return for valuable cash crops and natural resources that could be harvested there. The southern colonies were mostly settled by hardworking men who were hoping to make a new life and bring their families together, or bring their families later. The Jamestown settlement in Virginia was the first permanent English settlement in the New World. They came seeking gold and profit and failed to make friends with the Native Americans or prepare for the winter. This resulted in what was known as starving time. Almost everybody died. And just when it looked like the settlement wasn't going to make it, more people and supplies arrived from England. As more people began arriving in southern colonies, the people saw that the climate and soil was perfect for long growing seasons and forgot all about looking for gold and easy money. They began growing cash crops such as cotton, indigo, and tobacco. The crops were harvested and exported to Europe for profits. Sadly, the beginning of the slave trade also began in the New World. As they needed to farm, labor increased. Millions of Africans were captured and brought against their will to the New World to be bought and sold as farm labor. A large portion of the population of the southern colonies were enslaved Africans. The southern colony of Georgia was unique in that it was founded as a debtors' colony by James Oglethorpe. James Oglethorpe was a philanthropist. A philanthropist is a person who wants to help others through charitable donations and work. In England, if a person owed money they could not pay, they were placed in debtors' prison. James Oglethorpe did not think that was fair treatment of these people. Once they were in prison, they would never be able to pay the debt and get released. Oglethorpe got permission to establish a colony for Georgia for debtors. They would each get a plot of land in town to build a home and garden. The debtors would also get a larger plot of land outside of the town to grow crops and earn money. Oglethorpe had some rules, including making slavery illegal in the Georgia colony. The king agreed to the debtors' colony mostly because he saw Georgia as a buffer or protection between the English colonies and the lands held by Spain. Many poor and starving people in England came to the New World as indentured servants. An indentured servant was a person who had their passage across the ocean paid because they had agreed to work for the payer as a servant for 4 to 7 years. The life of an indentured servant was not good. They were treated badly and could have their work time extended as punishment for any number of reasons. Once the 7 years were up, the indentured servant was released and given freedom dues. Even though being an indentured servant was harsh, many did well if they survived it. Their contract may have included at least 25 acres of land, a year's worth of corn, weapons, a cow, and new clothes. Okay, so now I would like you to go back up to slide 2, and I will read you